All right, weekly watch list. Before I get into our watch list, come over to ztrades.net, check out our terms and conditions, read our disclaimers as well. If you do not agree to our disclaimers and terms and conditions, do not watch this video and do not join the newsletter that's below in the bio as well as our community. Let's go ahead and get into it. I've got a lot that I'm watching here, and I'm going to go over all of it here. There's one thing I'm seeing. It looks like we're about to clear a lot of low volume area or a lot of volume shelves. And when we do, we're going into low volume territories where things can move a lot easier to the upside. So I want to start off with Shopify. You know, with our bots in the Discord, with our TrendSpider bot, it covers. You know, you got everything kind of right there on the Mag 7. It's all just right in front of your face, done for you. I don't even get a chance to pull some of this stuff up. But that all the stuff that we have, the whole internet's watching and is aware that there's a pennant, an ascending wedge, whatever it may be, inverted head and shoulders, cup and handle, divergence. Like the whole internet's raving about it. If Nvidia has it on Twitter, or something like that, one of the top 10 of the S&P. Well, I'm looking for some of the stuff that's not as popular or some of the stuff that isn't covered. So let's jump into that. SPY, there's not too much that's a dead giveaway. I'm leaning to the bull side in this upcoming week. So I haven't even taken a look at futures yet. I don't know where they are. And in fact, as I start talking about Shopify, why don't I go ahead and take a look? You can see if we can clear that 112 area, we're going into a very low volume territory where the volume peels off. So the movement can let's see, hold on one second here. Let's take a look at futures. Futures, they're down a little bit, not really, nothing notable. It could move more than that in the daytime. So I'm watching Shopify. I should have been in that. I really like this right here with this pop. I mean, that was a beautiful pop. We had this low volume area. The PT on that would have been 110, which it hit it, and then it rejected. You can see at the top of that volume shelf almost perfectly and started to suck back. If it can clear that, looks like a straight shot to 117 in this lower volume area, 119. I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled on that. Let's go ahead and move over to T-Mobile. Look at that. Let's go ahead and move my mug down here. Look at this on the daily. We've got anchored VWAP and it's pressing against it, holding it down. We have a low volume area to 254. Let's also take a look at the TA on a weekly. I mean, look at this. This just looks fantastic. Look at that right there. Beautiful. I want it to touch 3 times, right? 1, 2, and 3. Right, here's where it starts. 1, 2, 3. I like that. Not just twice, but 3 times I really like it. 4 times I'm going to be questioning why it didn't break whatever it is, whether it's to the bear side or the bull side. I like that a lot. I like the daily better because I have a clear price target because we can see where that volume shelf is, which is right around 254. There's also a gap which would hit the top of that volume shelf at 258. And if it clears that, 262 where that volume shelf is, I mean, it looks beautiful. My personal PT would probably be around the bottom of that at 254. It's currently at 245. Eyes on that this week. Let's go ahead and take a look at Verizon. Everybody's talking about Verizon. It's also a seasonal stock. It likes to run around this time. Let's see if I can recreate the TA that I saw everywhere. There it is. There it is. I see what they're saying. We don't need to chart the bottom because we're looking at upside here. Obviously, if it breaks to the downside, I don't need to chart it out. We've got a volume gap right here to 41. There's a shelf right here at 40, which I don't see it passing that if it can clear this. Like I said about everything, there's moving into an area where the volume is very low. So things could possibly roar here. Let's go ahead and take a look at Eli Lilly and then the obvious Tesla. LLY. We've got the 100 EMA, 50 EMA here. Then we've got the 100 as well as anchored VWAP. That's going to be hard because they're meeting and twisting together like rope. And usually stocks will respect those areas where EMAs meet, especially stuff like anchored VWAP and EMAs that are on the higher time frame. We have a gap right here to 882. The problem with Eli Lilly, getting in spreads, you're losing money getting in and getting out due to how wide the spreads are. It makes it difficult. We have that low volume area with a gap fill up there. My personal PT, since we're inside the low volume area, it's getting stronger and stronger, would probably be around 796, which would make it a $20 move. Let's keep moving here. Let's move over to Apple. And then last but not least, volume gap 209. Now, where were we Monday? So we're going to go back 5 bars. We were right around 200 and we saw almost 207. My PT was 209. So that didn't quite get there, although my PT on SPY pretty much hit. So gap fill 221. I don't know about that. China is what's pinning this down. I definitely see this at some point next week or the following, and could absolutely happen, especially if Trump and Xi come to an agreement. Last but not least, Tesla. We're going to move over to SPY here. Look at this. Just like UNH, I was able to call the volume shelf to the dollar on where it was going to go when it was $30 away. I told a guy in the Discord he was selling CSPs, cash secure puts, on TSLA, which is a leveraged version of Tesla. It's like a derivative that tracks Tesla. And I was like, well, hold on a second. We got 280 here. And who thought that was going to happen with Elon flying off the handle there? Well, it did. Not only did it, if you want to look really close, let's zoom in on this, okay? Let's analyze this. Move my mug over here. Here's the 280 gap fill. 284, right? It was right in the 280 area. 277, 284, 280, right? I said, watch for that. Watch for this volume shelf. Now it surpassed it and sucked up and then closed with the body right on the volume shelf. People don't play volume shelves and volume gaps. They just don't do it. You can go on toss and go to volume profile. That's as close as you can get to TrendSpider's version. TradingView has tons of them as well. And also, good old anchored VWAP tagged it and just shot right up off it. I wish I was looking at that on a higher time frame. I was waiting for the 280 area, but it dropped below it, and I was entering C's right below that, right below 280, and that sucked up that day, and I was able to do very well. Following day, I was in TSLLs as swings. Following day, we saw, that really went up. We rejected right on the 100 there. So that we have a gap from this candle to this candle. Now take a look at the crosshair. Don't look at where I'm pointing the mouse, but the line right here, okay? We have a gap from there to there, a gap at 327. This is a low volume area. I'd be targeting this lower volume area. This whole thing's a low volume area, but right there at 316. Currently, we're at 299. If Elon is smart, he's going to create a catalyst for Tesla. Hey, we've got this coming up in August. Our optimist, something. Hey, we've got something. I don't know. I'm like shooting from the hip here. They are toying with a Tesla phone, which will go off of Starlink. Maybe they're saving that for Starlink. I don't know till Starlink IPOs. If it is now because he flew off the handle and he's made some people mad that he shouldn't have. He should have been thinking about his company. Well, I'd like to see that filled, right? Let me get back on track here. I'm getting off track. I'd like him to create a catalyst. He needs to get on that like now. And right as that August catalyst is coming to a close, like it's about to happen, they got to have another one for like November, and then after that, another one for like early February or something, late January. So it's just driving activity. If he's smart, he is smart, but he needs to do that, in my opinion. in order to really get this thing in order to assist this thing to recover. I got to watch my wording. So SPY, let's move over there. That's why I'm pausing, guys. I have to watch how I say things after reading the um, Google's policy. So I have to, sometimes I'm going to struggle to find words. I have the words that I could say, but I'm looking for different words. So bear with me in the future videos here. Target was 601 on SPY, high 601. We almost got there. We were there, not fully wherever same thing. We pretty much hit that target. Well, here's what I'm looking at, really. Ignore this chart over here. The volume peels off and goes lower and lower, and then we surpass ATH. And haven't I been saying that in a lot of these stocks? If they keep going at the rate that they're going, I mean, and everything's pointing to the upside from what it looks like. You know, if JPM fails, I mean, gosh, especially this gap right there, 255, 253, that doesn't look like it though. Higher with a lower, with buying. This looks great. We're right on a volume shelf. If it can pass that, then we're going to this low volume area. This is another one. Goldman Sachs looks fantastic as well. We went up, started to go up in this low volume area to 631, and it sucked back 621 down to 614. But I'm expecting us to go up into that area this week. We'll see. Everything's about to go into no man's land area. By the way, actually, I've got two more that I'm looking at here. There was another one, and I forget the ticker, and I don't have time to look it up. But I mean, we nailed Marvel. Look at this. This looks really good. Really good. Already nailed it. Let's see whenever that had happened. That was on like what, Wednesday? So that was over in here, maybe? Yes, I think. Right over in here. Yeah. But anyways, let's go back. I don't know the exact date. I'm not going to waste time here. Just take a look at this movement. RSI is rising as well. This looks fantastic. Look, there's like no volume right there. None. That's ridiculous. Right around just below 80. And right now we're at 68 with a whopping gap at 85. And there's another low volume area and another gap. I don't see that happening anytime soon. But mid caps there's a time and place for mid caps, and we're kind of in it right now. One by one, they're taking off. Let's go ahead and take a look at defense. LMT looks great to me. Why do I have that as low? What did I have as low volume over here? Okay, yeah. There we go. Let's go ahead and fix that. Let's fix this a little bit more. Whole area is low volume. Let's go ahead and make it shorter to where, yeah, that's better. Gap all the way up here. I don't know if we fill that fast, something bad happened. Something really bad happened. So in the short term, being conservative, we've got a gap there at around 496 to 498, which is not that far off. We're at 482 right now. That's a little bit more realistic. But after that, this whole area right in here with this volume shelf at 517, we pass that whole area is low volume. But it looks like, you all remember what happened last summer. It seems like it was 2 seconds ago. Wasn't this with the whole, no, I think this was right here. Yeah, September, when Iran was sending missiles into Israel. If you guys remember that day, the LMT calls. Oh my gosh. And then it looked like Trump was going to get in, and it got pulverized from 615 all the way down to 422 because JFK wants to end lobbying with the defense companies that get us into conflicts so that the companies can make money. Not good. Not good. And the last time Orange Man was in, we didn't have any war for 4 years. It was like the first time in like 2 decades. right? So I think that both sides, the right and the left, need to agree on that. Both of us need to unite and agree on that. No more war. No more war. Pointless. It makes the average Joe, because they print money, which Lockheed Martin sure likes it, because they get to access all the tax dollars and money printer, right? But for the average Joe, then taxes have to go up because we've printed more money, and then there's a deficit, and then we're foot the bill, and then interest rates have to be higher. Then you can't afford a house. Then your monthly bills on everything, on your lease on your car, your car payments, if it's financed, and your home go up if you bought recently, and it's just footed on the American taxpayer. I'm not for it. So anyways, that's another conversation. But we have that anchored VWAP area, which we did reject right there, and it's having trouble. But then there's also a massive volume shelf right here, which I don't see it going much lower than that. What's the General Dynamics? I can't think. No, not RTX. This is already taken off. There's a couple more defense companies, whatever. And anyways, not that I'm too worried about Palantir. Palantir has already done it. I've got some stuff, guys, coming up. Let me take a look at QQQ real quick here. I thought this was going to be shorter than it actually was. Low volume area. If we surpass ATH, it depends on why. I wouldn't want to get into a bear position just because we surpassed ATH. And then right after I did that, the trade war with China ends. And then it's just like, a freight train to 700 on SPY or something like that. Funny thing is, before I end this video, I was selling hats, ZTRADEZ merch back like 5 years ago that said SPY to 500. And look where we are now with a trade war going on, right? Anyways, guys, I've got a hot small cap, and I'm going to go over a lot of other small caps. I'm also going to go over a bunch of exciting upcoming IPOs. I have to redo the other video. I have to obey some of the policies here on these platforms and my wordage. So I'm going to be deleting that one. I'm going to release a new one. So we got 2 new videos coming after this watch list. So please keep your eyes on this small cap that I'm going to release a video on tomorrow. If you guys like this content, make sure to like and follow for more.